Deputy Minister for Correctional Services, Honorable Holomisa. Welcome to the meeting. Honourable members, just in terms of today's meeting, we're dealing with two agenda items. The first is with regard to a briefing by the Department of Correctional Services on the appointment on the National Council for Correctional Services. And secondly, we'll be considering and adopting the committee reports with regard to the budgets and APPs for correctional services, as well as that for Home Affairs. Just in terms of attendance with regard to honourable members, we have Honourable Smith, Honourable Dodovu, Honourable Mtetwa, Honourable Mikulakis, Honourable Maleka, Honourable Bartlett, Honourable Dlamini, Honourable Ndungeni, Honourable Kadebe. I think we do form the appropriate quorums, and Honourable Dodo. Okay, okay. Welcome once again. Welcome, honourable members, and also welcome to the Minister and the Deputy Minister. Just in terms of the first agenda item, we'll be receiving a presentation on the National Council of Correctional Services, on the appointment of the National Council for Correctional Services. The main function, honourable members, is to advise of the NCCS is to advise the Minister on developing policy with regard to the correctional system and sentencing process. And in terms of Section 83, subsection 2H of the Correctional Service Act, these appointments need to be made in consultation with the relevant committees in Parliament. In the NA, that would be the Portfolio Committee on Justice, whereas in the NCOP, it's the Select Committee on Security and Justice. And also, I think if members would have received the presentation and all the relevant necessary documentation, including the CVs of appointments. Well, members would also note that the department has also indicated that they wish to make these appointments by the 1st of July. Let me then hand over to Minister Lamola, perhaps then to take us through this process. Minister, we look forward to this presentation, and let me welcome you in the department. Minister, over to yourself.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and to all members of the Select Committee, and also the Deputy Minister Holomisa. I hope you have the presentation. If it could be shared, we will then go through it.
Gershwin? Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Yes, it's a presentation on the appointment of the National Council for Correctional Services. Yeah, the purpose of the presentation is to brief the Select Committee on Security and Justice on the appointment of the National Council for Correctional Services. Seems the is moving slowly, so I will just use the one I have on my side. As members may be aware, the Minister of Correctional Services is mandated to appoint the National Council for Correctional Services, referred to as the National Councils in terms of Section 83 of the Correctional Services Act of 1998. The main function of the NCCS is to advise the Minister developing policy with regards to the correctional system and the sentencing processes. The Minister must refer and major proposed policy developments that regard the correctional service to the National Councils for comments and advice. The council is historically dating as far back as the old apartheid era been very instrumental in the development process and procedure within the correctional services penology field and nationally and outside our borders. The council also considers cases of offenders serving life sentences of life imprisonment and may recommend to the ministers regarding the placement of such offenders on parole or day parole and cancellations of parole or day parole. Certain members of the council also, as the Correctional Supervision and Parole Review Boards, review the decisions of the parole boards. The term of the current council expired in 30 July, I think it's 30 June 2023. It is clear from Section 83 of the Act as amended that the composition of this council has to be reflective of the dynamics of our country as far as administration, justice, and public safety is concerned. This then shows the outline of who must constitute the panel. The council, it is legislated that the council needs to consist of the following persons: 3 judges of the High Court or the Supreme Court of Appeal, a magistrate, a prosecutor from the National Prosecuting Authority, a representative from the Department of Correctional Service, Social Development and Police, 2 persons who specialize in the field of correctional services, and lastly, members of the community. For the purpose of these communications, we will limit discussions to the appointment. We will limit the discussions to the appointments as far as they relate to Section 83H appointments, which must be made in consultation with the relevant Parliament committee. Furthermore, Section 78 of the Act says that the council will also be seized with the responsibility of advising the minister in respect of the powers in relation to offenders serving life sentences. When we deal with the appointments in terms of Section 83(2)H, we have placed an advert in the Sunday media inviting nominations, applications for appointment in the NCCS. A re-advert was done with the aim of increasing the pool of the candidates for appointments. Following in-house consultation and needs-based research, we have decided to limit appointments to the legal, religious, academic, community involvement, and social fields. We hereby propose that the relevant parliamentary committee to consider the following candidates, and the relevant parliamentary committee today is this select committee that we are before. And I will not go name by name, chairperson, because I assume I take it as read, the documents and the CVs which have been summarized, except to highlight a few points that we have considered all the demographics, the experience, the exposure of the candidates to our environment, and also the academic expertise, their community involvement. You will also see that we have also have a lot of members who are currently serving in the NCCS, which we believe will augur well for continuity. So it's a well-balanced list of all the skills that are required by the NCCS, from religion and all the factors, criminologists, and so forth. So that is our report.
Recording in progress.
And, we have also stated the budget, as you will see, the cost and the number of times that they sit, which is usually three days in 1 month. So the council allowance is about 2,698 rands per session per day, paid from the compensation of employees budget from the department to members of the councils who are not in the service of the state. So those who are in the service of the state are not paid, and we've also attached the breakdown of all those allowances. We've also attached the budget and how it was allocated, which is a budget that is taken from the compensation fund, which they are served through the council secretariat of the NCCS. We've also stated the number of meetings they have, 3 days usually in 1 month, and we've categorized on each day sometimes what they deal with. For example, day 1 and 2, lifer profiles, about 150 profiles are discussed during the 2 days, plus minus 75 per day. Day 3, they discuss, usually they discuss policies that have been referred for them to advise the minister. So all the documents are attached. We therefore submit this for the consideration of the select committee. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Minister, for the presentation. And my apologies, I think there's a bit of a technical hitch on members. You'll note that the presentation from both the department side as well as from the side of Gershwin, he was unable to scroll, or well, he was scrolling through the presentation, but it was not moving on the screen. But on members, I think, the department also gave us documentation with regard to this engagement also well in advance, and we did provide it to members. I'm just hoping that members have been through that presentation as well and have familiarized themselves with all the relevant documentation. I think that being said, on members, I'm going to hand over to yourselves. If you have any questions for clarity and or any comment you would like to make. Okay, sorry, there's just a notice on my screen. Okay, I'll take Honorable Dlamini for now. If there's any other honorable members, please raise your hand. Honorable Dlamini. Honorable Dlamini. Honorable Samai, I see your hand is up. Honorable Dlamini was logged off. I think she's joined. Honorable Samai, let's start with you.
Yes, I just want to know more than 67 inmates who are serving life sentence, who are being in jail for more than 15 years. And when their file go to NCCA and come back, and they will simply say they need the case must be, they must go and do a program of 14 days, maybe life skill or social worker program. It only take 14 days. What make this thing to happen like that? Because you will find that make our centers overcrowded. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Samai. Honorable Dlamini, are you back online?
Yes, Chair, I'm back, and apologies for the disconnection. Mine is to ask about one of the potential candidates by the name of Nkopo Maluleka. Just for the ministry to verify if he's the one who went to the Human Rights Commission for writing a Facebook post that says, rape elderly white woman and kill her afterwards, if that's the same person. And if it is, then there's a discomfort on our side for his consideration, because we can't have someone who views rape as a corrective action, or to have ever had a thought like that cross their mind. So we just want to verify that particular individual, if it's that one who was taken to the Human Rights Commission for that particular Facebook post. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dlamini. Honorable Maleka, did you want to raise something?
Thank you, Chairperson.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairperson. Sorry for raising my hand. I was trying. I don't know what's wrong with my gadget today. And please allow me not to switch on my video. Chairperson, I want to check how effective will they describe the council to be, particularly in respect of offenders serving life sentences as mentioned in slide 5? And what, if any, challenges exist within the operations of the council? And my second question, the term of the current council was extended until 30 June 2023 in slide 5. On what grounds was this extension made, and what offer vacancies are there currently on the council? And my last one on slide 7, when was the advert published and the re-advertisement done? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Maleka. Is there any other member with any other question or comment? Okay, if there are none, perhaps maybe just to add one more thing, because I think Honorable Maleka has covered me quite sufficiently on the questions. But maybe the question, Minister, is has the department satisfied itself in respect of the background of the candidates it is putting forward to the committee, and whether there is any additional information pertaining to the candidates that the committee needs to be aware of? Those are just my additional question. I think that being said, Honorable Minister, given that there are no other hands, perhaps let me then hand over to yourself to take us through those responses. Yeah, Honorable Minister.
Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. I will request the Carol and also the Secretariat of the NCCS to fill some questions, then I will come after them.
Thank you, Minister. Morning, Honorable Chairperson and members. I will answer the first question and then also allow the NCCS Secretariat to also answer the question. The first question was asked by Honorable Muzamai about the inmates that were granted a further profile. In a case where the inmates, after consideration by the NCCS, they recommend for further profile. The reason being for the delay, or I'll indicate that the delay where you say they will recommend that he must maybe do some sort of a course which is only 12 weeks or 2 weeks, and then after the delay for coming back to the minister, it's because also it must go back to the center, and then of which once it goes back to the center, he or she must be able to conduct that particular recommendation from the NCCS. And then from there, it must go to the CMC. And then from the CMC, they'll also make their own recommendation to the parole board. And then from the parole board, it will come back to NCCS. And then from the NCCS, it will also come to the minister. Not necessarily that there is a delay. It's just that because of that process that unfolds during the further profile of the offender. So I'll also hand over to the NCCS Secretariat, Mr. Twala, who's on the platform, to give more clarity on the other issues that were raised. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members. With regard to the question that was asked by Honorable Mutsamai, just to add to what Advocate Mobe said, the NCCS is constituted by judges, a magistrate, a member of the NPA, rep from South African Police Service, 2 reps from the department, professionals, that is psychologists,
Mr. Twala.
So each profile is considered on its own merit.
Mr. Twala,
when the NCCS arrives of what is in the profile.
Twala. Mr. Twala, can you hear us?
Recommended for.
Carol, can you call Mr. Twala? He seems not to hear us, and we really can't hear what he's saying.
Noted, Minister.
We cannot hear what he's saying. Yeah.
No, thanks for the intervention, Minister. Okay, I see he's off the platform, so perhaps he'll rejoin.
So that's what is considered.
Mr. Twala?
Moving to the question that was asked by
Minister, I think we're having a challenge with Mr. Twala's network.
Yeah, hence I've requested Quarrel to communicate with him. So we'll just await when he's properly back online to restart them. On the question of Maluleke, we will verify. We also don't know whether it's the same person or not. We could only request that the approval could be pending that verification. If it's the same person, then it means we will have to reconsider. But if there is no issue with the other names, we will request to proceed with the others, and with the Mr. Maluleke will have to verify that information. We don't know whether it's the same. Carol, are you succeeding?
Yes, he's trying to move, Minister.
Okay.
Yes. With your permission, Minister, can I answer the one that was asked by Honorable Maluleke about the effectiveness of life sentences and what are the challenges? Minister?
Yes, you can.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairperson. On that one, I just wanted to indicate that while considering the profile of the offender, there are certain factors that they also consider, especially from the NCCS point of view. Because what they normally do, they look at the psychologist report, social worker report, and maybe some other programs that the offender has undertaken or undergone. And also checking on the whether the offender has already reached his or her minimum detention period. Once they consider all that, and then they will make it.
Ministry's bathroom.
They will make it a point that they recommend for the minister. It's either they recommend for parole placement or not placement on parole, but further profile. Thank you, Minister. Mr. Twal? Mr. Twal?
I advocate.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Twala.
Can you hear me, Chairperson?
Yes, we can hear you. Please
Apologies,
continue.
I've got a problem. Yes, I just wanted to add to what Advocate Mobe has responded to with regard to the question that was asked by Honorable Mutsamai. To say the NCCS is constituted by judges, a magistrate, a member of the NPA, professionals, that is social workers and psychologists. So each profile, Chairperson, is looked at on its merit. So when the NCCS arrives at a decision to recommend parole, it will be because of what is in the profile report. As to whether a offender will be recommended for 12 months for a profile, 18 or 24 months, is dependent on what offender must do. So that is in regard to the question that was asked by Honorable Mutsamai, Chairperson. Then with regard to the question that was asked by
Seems Twala is gone again.
Yes, Minister. Is there no way that he can just find better network? Because I think it's very important that we get through the process today, given your timelines as well. And Minister, I think you're probably aware that even at the end of next week, we're going on recess. So if we don't deal with the matters today, we will not finalize this process as well.
Chairperson, who's Maluleka here on us?
Maybe just clarity with regard to the question, Minister, while we're waiting for Mr. Twala, and perhaps Carol needs to call him once again. The question that was asked by Honorable Dlamini with regard to Mpopo Maluleke, because I was trying to just look for that name as well on the presentation, and I'm not actually picking it up. I just wanted some clarity in terms of maybe Honorable Dlamini, if you could just clarify. I've been trying to look for the name and I don't find it. Honorable Dlamini? Okay, I think she was also having network issues. Okay, but I think from the side of the...
Sorry, Chair.
Yes.
Sorry. No, I
Sorry,
just
Advocate.
wanted to, Chair, with your permission.
Yes, I'm not sure who you are, but please speak.
Oh, it's Carol from the Minister's Office.
Okay.
I just want to check on this one for Nkopo Maluleke. I'm not quite too sure if Honorable Dlamini is referring to Nkopo, where we did the security clearance, and then upon receiving the results from SSA, State Security, and then it was discovered that he has a criminal record of assault, and of which it was also clear, also from the portfolio committee, that we need to remove his name from the selected candidate. So I'm not quite too sure if he's referring to that one, Honorable Dlamini, on the list.
Okay, but just in terms of your presentation to us as the select committee, the name is not on that list.
Yes, yes,
okay.
The name is not there. The
All
name
right.
is not appearing. If we can check, Chair, from the presentation, the results from the state security, the name was there, but upon receiving that, and also, because what they did, they raised concern regarding that for him to be part of this, we had to replace him. So I'm not quite too sure if Honorable Dlamini is referring to that one.
Yeah, I think that's an Honorable Dlamini.
Yes, no, sorry, I'm also losing a bit of coverage on my side, but yes, that's the name. It's part of the CVs that we had received ourselves. So when we did our own vetting process, that's how we received the name.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, but you say he's removed now.
Yes.
Yes, the name was removed because of that concern that he's having an assault case. So that's how it was removed from the list. He's no longer part of this selected. So I just wanted to clarify that.
No, thank you very much, Carol.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's Twala. I'm back. I've moved the office. I'm now using Mr. Raman's device. Yeah, if I can add maybe Chairperson to the question that the Advocate Mobo responded to, with your leave.
Please continue.
Yes, with regard to the question that was asked by Honorable Mutsama, Chairperson, what I wanted to add is that the NCCS is constituted by judges, a magistrate, a member, rep from SAPS, professional, that is psychologists and social workers, and that each profile is in fact considered on its own merit. So when a further profile is recommended by the NCCS, it will be because of what is in the profile report. As to whether offender will be given a further profile for 12 months, 18 or 24 months, it depends on what the offender needs to do. I just wanted to add that one, Chairperson. With regard to the question that was asked by Honorable Maleka, relating to the vacancies, there are currently 2 vacancies, one of a judge and SAPS rep. I understand that the process at advanced stage to have those 2, in fact, post filled. I think it's only those 2 questions, Chairperson. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, no, thank you. But just in terms of the other question asked from Honorable Maleka with regard to when the advert was published and the re-advertisement done, if you may perhaps deal with that one, and then I think the minister then can come in after you, before I go back to members to see if there's any follow-up.
Can I come in, Chair?
Yes, please.
With your permission. The advertisement was published in a newspaper in 2020, and of which after we did not receive like a pool of, if minister has indicated that we had to re-advertise it. So we are busy checking on the re-advertisement, but it was published in 2020, and the re-advertisement was also done after 2020 as well.
Okay. No, thank you very much, Minister.
Sorry, Chair. Sorry, I got the date. My apologies. Yes, it was on the 6th July 2019, the first advert on a Sunday media, which was published. And then also the re-advertisement was done in 2020. Thank you, Chair.
You know, thank you very much. Carol, Minister, over to you, or DM, whoever wishes to make an input.
Yeah, no, thank you, Chairperson. You will see the period since the re-advert was done. It has also been back and forth between the portfolio committee and ourselves, particularly on the background check, given the number of people and also the screening. The committee said we need to ensure that by the time they concur or agree, all the members should have been screened. Hence, we are now coming with all the reports of all the applicants now ready to proceed. That is our presentation. Thank you.
Okay, no, thank you very much, Minister and your team. Honourable members, are there any other follow-up questions? Okay, just maybe from my side, Minister, the 2 vacancies of the judge and the SAPS rep, what is being done to try and address that process or speed up that process?
With your permission, Chair.
Please continue.
Thank you, Chair. With the post for the 3rd judge, we did from our side send a letter because our act make provision that upon appointment of the judges, minister, it must be after in consultation with the Chief Justice. So we are waiting the response from the Chief Justice, but the process is at advanced stage. And then on the issue of the appointment from the SAPS, we also wrote a letter to the National Commissioner for the nomination to replace, because the current one, he just went on pension currently, and of which the process is also at advanced stage. So we are waiting from the SAPS response with the name of the nominee who's going to replace Mr. Ngwayne, who was the previous member from the SAPS. So in all the process, they are at advanced stage, Chairperson, and from time to time, we also make a follow-up. Thank you.
Okay, no, thank you very much for the response. Minister, I take it from your side, you happy. Honourable members, let us, Minister, if you don't have any final comment to make, I'd want to close on the item.
Yes, Chair, I don't have any. Thank you.
Okay, no, thank you very much. Let me thank you, Minister, and the department and the NCCS for the presentation and the responses. And I think from our side, given the time frame, we will look into trying to take this matter forward in the next meeting of the committee. Our members, I think at the end of the meeting today, we should be able to forward you a report which we would consider for adoption in our next meeting, and we'll inform you in terms of the date and the time for that meeting. But thank you very much, Minister, Deputy Minister. I see the National Commission is also on the platform. He mentioned something in the WhatsApp group. And the representatives from the NCCS. Thank you very much. And Minister, and your team, you're welcome to be released from the platform while the committee then continues with its other internal matters or business for the day. But thank you very much. Our members, we'll be moving to the next agenda item with regard to the report of the committee. We'll start with the report on the budget and APP for correctional services. Gershwin, are you able to put up the report? Okay. I'm not sure. Maybe on this one, Gershwin, perhaps if you could maybe then just take us through what were the key issues for discussion. I see this one is Home Affairs, that's the one that's on the screen.
Good morning, Chairperson. I'll be happy to take you through, Chair. Good morning, members. If you forgive me, I'll keep my camera off for the network issues. We are dealing with the policy assessment and recommendation report of the Select Committee on Budget Vote 22, and it's the Department of Correctional Services. If we just go to page 7, and we're just dealing with the discussions of the committee, which dealt with the arrest by the Hawks and the response, the irregular expenditure by the department. We dealt with the gambling of inmates and the anti-corruption strategy, and the differentiation between treatment of inmates and victims as opposed to ordinary citizens. The committee further looked at the budget reduction in the rehabilitation program and the impact load shedding has in terms of generators and departments functioning. The committee followed up on the overcrowding and foreign nationals, the parolees, offenders, victim dialogue, and the victims not being informed of release of offenders, the department's response to that. And then the regional commissioner post of the Eastern Cape and its filling of that. And then the number of psychologists and social workers available at the time. And also members followed up on the reoffending of inmates and the benefits of victims of crime. Then the committee also delved into the Thabo Bester escape and just followed up on what has been happening with the security company and the Judicial Inspectorate of Correctional Services bill that is still to come in terms of legislation that the department is proposing. And then in terms of remand detainees and escapes, and then just to follow up on facilities and engagement of CPFs in the Western Cape. All those responses are there in terms of what the department has has responded to. And then the members just wanted to find out about the presidential pardon and how that, what the process is for that. In terms of the recommendations, the department should ensure that it prioritizes the upgrading of correctional centers and works tirelessly to ensure that the overcrowding is reduced, the bed space is increased at all correctional centers. The department should ensure that it reduces the number of remand detainees by implementing the necessary sections of the Criminal Procedure Act for these detainees to obtain bail swiftly. The department should endeavor to work with all CPF structures in all provinces, with law enforcement agencies to improve its services in returning escapees to custody, as well as to work with the CPFs to effectively monitor parolee activities. The department, together with other departments and stakeholders, should endeavor to find a plan to provide the necessary skills and support to victims of crime to ensure that victims receive the compensation they deserve. The department should ensure that it works well with the DPWI to effectively roll out sufficient generators and other sources of power to counter load shedding, with the aim of preventing escapes within correctional centers. The department should work innovatively to ensure that despite budget cuts in the rehabilitation program, this does not affect the importance of rehabilitation of offenders, that it does not affect the services of psychologists and social workers within the department. In this regard, the department should implement programs of action to focus on the retention and appointment of sufficient psychologists, social workers, and healthcare practitioners. The department should implement the necessary measures to prevent any escapes, and in the event of inmates escaping, victims and their families should be informed of the escape as expeditiously as possible. The department should prioritize the protection of whistleblowers and transfer them to safe facilities and continue to receive reports from the public on corrupt activities within the department. Further, the department should implement the necessary disciplinary procedures in these cases. 6.8, the department should continue monitoring the activities of parolees to satisfy themselves that parolees are indeed capable of providing for themselves and implement the necessary monitoring mechanisms. And then the department should, within 30 days of adoption of this report, furnish the committee with the following detailed reports: consequence management in respect of irregular expenditure, a detailed report on disciplinary measures undertaken, a report on the incidents of corruption reported by the public through the call center, a report on the department's self-sufficiency and sustainability program, a report on the figures of foreign nationals within correctional centers, and those handed over to the Department of Home Affairs, a report on the best practice case studies of parolees who have started their own businesses and who are employing other parolees, a full and detailed report on the type of best escape, a report on the employment equity targets of the department for persons with disabilities. And in conclusion, the committee encouraged the department that despite some big budget cuts, the department continues to ensure the safety, rehabilitation, and care of inmates, as well as the overall health of DCS officials.
Thank you very much, Gershwin. Honourable members, are there any additions and or corrections that you would want to make to the report? Honourable Mikolakis?
Thank you, Chair. I'm in broad support of the report itself. I would just like to, in the last paragraph where it does say that the Select Committee supports the budget, that our abstention at this stage be noted with regards to the budget itself. Thank you very much, Chair. But other than that, I'm in general support of the recommendations. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Honourable Mikolakis. Our members, I guess that was a slight, okay. All right, if there are no comments on the report, is there any mover for the adoption, Honourable Mthethwa?
Yes, Chair. I want to move the adoption of the report.
Any second, Honourable Maleka?
Thank you, Chairperson. I second for the adoption of the report.
Thank you very much. Okay, we note the concern of the D8 will be noted. Are there any other objections and abstentions? Okay, if none, honourable members, then I think the report is duly adopted. We'll then move on to the next report, Honourable Mthethwa.
If I may ask the Chair, what is the DA? What are we noting? Because he said the gist of the report, he accepted it. What exactly are we noting?
I think what the DA is saying is they in support of the report, but there's the last phrase, the last issue with regard to the committee supporting the budget vote. They're not in support of that.
Of the committee supporting the report?
No, of supporting the budget vote itself. If that's how I understood it, unless I'm mistaken, Honorable Mikalakis. And that would be noted in our minutes of the committee. But as a committee, obviously being the majority would support this report, so the report gets supported. So the concern that, are you okay with that, Tata?
Yeah, I'm okay, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Tata. Honourable members, let us then move on to the next report, that of Home Affairs. Once again, Gershwin, if you could once again take us through. Thanks.
Oh, with pleasure, Chair. Members, I present to you the draft policy assessment and recommendation report of the Select Committee for Budget Vote 5, Annual Performance Plan of the Department of Home Affairs. Again, members, I'll take you to page 11, which deals with the discussions. And members followed up on the protection of whistleblowers, the friendliness of staff and staff morale at the various centers, vehicle infrastructure and challenges, the difference in budget amounts, which is in the MTAF allocations, the target decrease for smart ID cards, and then the rollout of the DHA services in shopping malls on Saturdays and how this would be implemented, the long queues, the digitization, the rollout of biometric movement control system, the Chinese business owners employing Malawians for minimum wage, the verification of persons through naturalization certificates, the Border Management Authority. Members followed, and then the recommendations that we have provided. Members made the following observations and recommendations. Department should ensure that they tackle corruption and fraud, protect whistleblowers in the fight against corruption. The department must generate sufficient revenue to roll out sufficient vehicles and obtain the necessary accommodation to provide efficient services to communities. The department must make every effort to speedily introduce legislation aimed at extending trading hours to Saturdays to address the long queues and deliver efficient services to communities. The department should ensure that it conducts effective training for frontline staff to enhance the friendliness of staff and thereby improve service delivery. In addition, the department must improve the implementation of measures to improve the overall morale of staff within the department. The department must continue to conduct the necessary inspections and investigations to address the employment of undocumented foreigners at minimum wage within the country. The department should speed up its recruitment of young people and put the necessary mechanisms in place to obtain the equipment needed to digitize its services. The digitization of services will improve efficient service delivery significantly. The department should ensure the effective rollout of a biometric movement control system. This will enhance the department's effective capturing of data. The Border Management Authority should, within 30 days of adoption of this report, submit the service level agreement between the BMA and the Department of Home Affairs to the committee. The Border Management Authority should work effectively to integrate staff with minimal disruption to ensure the effective implementation of the Border Management Authority. The Border Management Authority plays an important role in protecting our borders, addressing illegal migration, and facilitating trade. Therefore, by becoming independent and resolving the current challenges, this will improve the effectiveness of the BMA and the citizens of South Africa. The department should, within 30 days of adoption of this report, submit the following reports: gender-based violence plan and the list of selected officers where the IMS case management system will be rolled out. In conclusion, the committee encouraged the department, particularly in respect of the constant challenges related to long queues, the budget challenges, to work effectively and efficiently to ensure that service delivery is improved. The department works hard to integrate the comments made by citizens to improve their services. The committee further wished the department well in mitigating challenges, implementation of the BMA. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much once again, Gershwin. Our members, are there any additions or corrections that you would want to make to the report? If there are none, is there any mover for the adoption of the report? I see Honorable Mtetwa, your hand is up. Or is that a legacy hand? Honorable Maleka?
I thank you, Chairperson.
Oh,
I move for the.
I wanted. Oh,
Okay, thank you, Honorable Maleka. Is there any seconder, Honorable Mtetwa?
I second, Chair. And also on the recommendation, we also recommend that they must move with speed in synchronizing all those departments under one BMF, the other departments, Chair.
BMA. Oh, okay. You want us to add that recommendation as well?
Yes, Chair. So to say that they must move with speed in doing that, because now they still got a lot of separate department there to allow the BMA to have its own standing alone, also in terms of budget and everything else. We know, we noted that now they are still relying on Home Affairs, SARS, and everybody else.
Okay, no, it's fine. I'm sure it was part of the discussion as well. When we engage the department, it can be added to the report as a recommendation. I think given that, Honorable Mtetwa, let me, I did recognize you, but somehow I'm not sure what was happening because, so Honorable Mtetwa.
It was me, Chair. I did mute. I'll realize later that I've not muted here. Sorry for
no,
that, Chair.
no problem. But thanks. Are there any other additions and or comments? Honorable Mutsamai?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I just want to add on the issue of a nationalization certificate and also on the issue of asylum on work permit, because now people are taking advantage when to attack foreigners and said these people, they don't have work permit, and people when they go and Pretoria and Marabasta to go and fix their papers, they are taking a long queue where they cannot be assisted. They must put officials that they can assist the people on that department, because I usually went there and make oversight visits to check how the people are being assisted. And I'm very happy on the issue of whistleblowers. They are taking a certain step to protect them. I'm 100% with this department. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I think with regard to the queues, we do have a recommendation around that. With regard to the, because I just want to clarify your issue, because you raised the issue of naturalization, and then you also raised the issue of the time it takes for the department to attend to matters. So I just want to be clear: is your addition around the matter of the queues? Because whatever the issue, whether it's naturalization or any other matter, we would expect the department to address it efficiently.
Let me put it clear, Chair. You see, I have a case which is on Thomas Stigmal, even to the Minister of Home Affairs, where a man, a husband, he did get a nationalization certificate. And they applied, both him and his wife, on the 13th of 2013.
Okay. No, I think you raised that matter in our meeting as well. Honorable Mtetwa?
Yes, Chair. Those issues, remember, Chair, were not even part of the report, but the department responded to it. The issue of the whistleblowers that he raised, the issue of the naturalization, those are not matters of our report, of today's report. Those matters were matters that were not even covered by their presentation, but the member was allowed to ask them, and they also guaranteed him that whenever those issues are being highlighted, they will be prepared to assist him going forward. But it's not part of this report now.
Okay, no, that's fine, Honorable Tetwa. Thanks for that. But I think his concern around matters being addressed by the department is covered. Okay, I think honorable members, with the addition that was made by Honorable Tetwa, is there any member that would want to then move for the adoption of the report? Honorable Tetwa? Please unmute.
I move the adoption of the report, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Maleka, any seconder?
I second the chair, it's Ndongeni.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ndongeni. Are there any objections and abstentions to the adoption of the report? Okay, if none, members, thank you very much. The report is duly adopted. On members, with that said, we've actually come to the end of our agenda. Let me once again thank you very much for your attendance and participation in these processes. And like I said, with the NCCS, we will inform members as soon as possible in terms of when we'll meet again to try and finalize that matter. Thank you very much, all members. Let me declare this meeting closed.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Those are just the figures.